Alright, so I thought I'd quickly run through Destiny 2 optimization. I'm going to try to make this quick without wasting a bunch of time. So we're going to start by going to Steam, going to Destiny 2, right-clicking on it, and going to Manage, and then click on Browse Local Files. When you're here, you're going to need to right-click on, or first left-click on Destiny, then right-click, then hit Properties, go to Compatibility, then down here you'll see Disable Full Screen Optimizations, turn this on, then hit Change High DPI Settings. Down here you'll see High DPI Scaling Override High DPI Scaling Behavior, and turn this on and make sure this is set to Application, hit OK, hit Apply, and hit OK. This essentially will make the game run better while in full screen, with the cost of adding a very slight, at least for me, if it's bigger for you, you can turn it off, delay when tabbing in and out of the game. For me, it's so slight that I don't actually care. It's like less than half a second. But if you do, you can turn that back off, but I find that it helps improve performance a lot. Go ahead and close this. And then actually, we're going to type down here in the search bar, percentage app data percentage. And then you'll see this pop up here. Click on it. And this will be essentially the prefs for different games. So we're going to go to Bungie, Destiny 2 PC, Preferences, and then you'll see CVars.xml and CVars.old. If you don't see this, click View, or if you don't see the endings of these, click View and make sure that file name extensions are turned on. That's really helpful. Double click this and then it will ask you how you want to open it. Choose Notepad, click OK. And then this is essentially all the different settings in the game you can adjust, but there's actually a lot more here, and it's essentially like a hard setting. So the game can't override this usually. So you're going to go in here, and you're going to go down, about 2/3 down, there's a thing called low latency mode. This could be set to 1, 2, whatever it is. Set it to 0. You can just type in inside these parentheses or question marks 0. Then scroll further down, and at the very bottom, one of the last things is mouse smoothing mode. And again, set this to 0. Again, this could be 2, 3, 1, it doesn't matter, just set it to 0. This essentially, mouse smoothing is trying to make the mouse feel, I guess, smoother. It's some people like it. It's more for PvE, and PvP it's really annoying. It feels sluggish, it adds input delay, and same with latency mode. It's rather interesting that the low latency mode that they did, for whatever reason, seems to cause even more latency. So then, importantly, go up here, click File, and click Save. Then you can exit out. Okay, so that wasn't really optimizing the game for performance, but that was just simply making the game, in my opinion, feel better. Okay, now, again in the search bar, we're going to type in graphics settings. We can open this up. You might see something slightly different than mine. What you should absolutely see somewhere is graphics performance preference. If you don't, I actually don't know what happens if you don't. You should see this. You might not see variable refresh rate. You might see GPU hardware acceleration or something like that. Something along the lines of accelerating the GPU or hardware. And actually, you want to have that on. If you see variable refresh rate, you can have that off. Honestly, variable refresh rate isn't bad or anything, and but I don't have that because I'm running an AMD card. Since you've got NVIDIA, I'm assuming you do. But anyway, this is one of the more important steps. Under graphic performance preference, go and make sure this is set to desktop app. Then I'm going to go ahead and remove this so I can show you doing it. Hit Browse. You'll need to navigate to your Destiny 2 source file. If you don't know where that is, again, you can go on Steam to Manage, to Browse Local Files. Once you're there, you can see what drive it's in, and then each subsequent file that you'll need to navigate through. If you have Destiny installed on your SSD, it might be in your program files, but since I have it on a secondary drive, it's just Steam Apps, Common, Destiny 2. I can show you that. So on my secondary drive, I go to Steam. Again, this might be under one of your program files. And then you're going to scroll down a little bit, and you'll see Steam Apps down here. And then Common, Destiny 2. And then you'll see again, destiny2.exe. You don't care about the shortcut if you have one. You don't care about the launcher, and you don't care about the mini ticket. So click on this, make sure you right click first, or left click first, then right click. Actually, just click on this, I forgot we're not doing that. And then click add, and it'll add it down here. And then importantly, and then the actual thing you're doing here is hit options and set this to high performance and save. So now your computer knows whenever this is running, it's essentially prioritizing this every time. And close that out. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and open in the settings of Windows. We're going to go to System. We're going to go down to Power and Sleep, additional power settings, and then in here we have some different ways your computer will run, essentially when you're doing stuff. So you might see, you should be able to see, and this might be minimized like this, and you might have to open that up, but you should see balance and high performance, and you might even see, like me, ultra performance. This is thought to hurt the computer more than anything, so do not put this on. Just make sure this is set to high performance, and you can exit out. You might have already done a lot of this stuff, but I think it's important to make sure you've done some of these things. Besides that, there's not a ton in here. You might be worthwhile at some point, although this can be a very lengthy process, doing a disk cleanup or optimizing your drives. Although Windows doesn't do that super well, it's still fine. Okay, then gaming. Under gaming, Xbox Game Bar, turn this off. Captures, you can have all this off. If you've got Xbox Game Bar off, all this will be off already. But then game mode, you actually want on. This really actually does help optimize Windows for PC play. So turn this on if that's not already on. Usually the Windows things doesn't really do much, but it seems to, in this case, do quite a bit. All right, we're almost done here. So updates and security. And then when you're updating security, go to Windows delivery optimization actually, and then make sure allow downloads from other PCs is turned off. I think that's about it. I'm sure there's some other stuff I cannot think of, but I'm pretty sure that's everything that is really substantial. So the big things I'd say to do are to make sure you do that. In the graphics setting thing, to set this to high performance. I also have Valorant set to that. It won't matter if you've got multiple here. It's only going to prioritize the one that you've got open. Also turning on, and again, you can't just do the shortcut. So if you do try to do properties and shortcut, it's just the shortcut, so it doesn't really show you anything, because this is actually just a URL. So you need to go and do the optimization of, or disable full screen optimization and stuff like that, and in the actual exe file, executable. I might do a quick secondary one for actual in-game Destiny 2 stuff, but for the actual computer, that is what I recommend.